When I talk about an issue, it's about gay people and equality with straight people. There's people who say, oh, well, if you're gay, you're hurting yourself. I've heard people say that. Jesse Lee Patterson, he says that to gay people. He says, why are you hurting yourself? He asks that as a question. They never know how to answer. And the people you can attribute with things that is in the Bible and et cetera, et cetera. So the question is, are gay people equal to straight people? And the answer, unfortunately, is no. There is a severe, critical biological difference between gay people and straight people that gives a disadvantage to many gay people that I will explain to you. And this is not an idea that I created on my own. This is something that I read about probably in the past year. And it's scientifically proven, it's scientific fact. You can go and research this, and you're going to find out that what I'm about to say is 100% true and cannot be disputed. So apparently, we know that men and women have a brain structure that has gray matter and white matter. And men have more gray matter and less white matter, women the reverse. Well, it ends up that a straight man uses primarily his gray matter, which he has the most of, and a gay man uses primarily his white matter, which he has less of, which puts him at a disadvantage. He's not using the full capacity of his brain. He's using a lesser capacity of his brain than a straight man. And a woman has substantially more white matter than a gay man. So the gay man is disadvantaged in the capacity of his brain that he has access to as compared to a straight man. But he's also disadvantaged compared to straight women because, like I said, women have far more white matter than gay men do. So he's disadvantaged compared to white women. They're both using white matter for their primary thought. And then you have lesbians who have less gray matter than men and less white matter than women. They're also at a disadvantage. They can't compete with a man in gray matter. If a man has far more gray matter, it's logic and analytics, he's going to beat the lesbian woman. And the lesbian woman has less white matter than a straight woman. So she cannot compete with organizational skills as a straight white woman. This is going to hurt them in the job place, etc. Now, the problem with a gay man, it's something that is choice because you can train yourself to use the other side of your brain. And the structure is identical to a straight man. The straight man and the gay man have the same brain structure, but the gay man uses the smaller portion of the brain primarily. What happens, my own belief, is that when you are working on a problem, both sides of your brain are working on that problem at the same time, but one of them responds faster. The one that's more efficient and more practiced, more trained, etc., responds faster. So you make that decision based on that, and the other one's going to give you an idea maybe more in the future. So they're getting information from the area of the brain that has a lesser capacity. You can train yourself to switch. It's possible. Takes practice, not difficult. The situation is different with women because a lesbian does not have equal proportions of gray matter and white matter with a straight woman. She has equal, I believe it's equal proportion, half and half. The woman has substantially more white matter, substantially less gray matter. So it's different. The lesbian woman is not going to have an advantage trying to switch between the two. But like I said, anyone who is gay, in terms of the way your brain operates, you're at a disadvantage compared to both straight men and straight women, and this is scientific fact. So there's evidence. You can research scientific fact that the gray matter proportions exist, as I explained, and there's scientific research in terms of abilities that people do studies saying, oh, well, these people have abilities that are less than these other people. Those studies are subject to being questioned, but it's the facts support the studies. And there obviously needs to have more research, but it's not going to change anything. Now, one of the issues that we have is that we do live in a different society now where you've got computers, you've got the internet, you've got artificial intelligence like the Google Echo and the Amazon Alexa and Siri, etc. These assist you in solving problems that you would not have been able to solve 20 years ago. So we have tools that make the job easier, such as a calculator doing mathematics. And it evens out some of the problems, but that might not always be. It might not be forever. It might not be a forever thing. Might be a temporary thing. I don't know. And I don't have strong opinions either way. But the point of this video is that, yes, there is a disadvantage when you are a person who is a gay or lesbian, and people are in denial about this. People say, no, it doesn't exist. Yes, it does exist. I have had employees, I've had 150 employees or more, and there were some that were lesbians and some that were gay. And the one woman that I'm thinking of who was a lesbian was a good employee, and she was a graphics designer, and she was out of my 10 graphic designers, she was the one who always did it exactly the way I wanted it to be done. And when I would say, do this and do it this way, she would do it. The other ones had to keep on going and say, no, you didn't do it the way I wanted to do it to. You know, the straight people were a pain in the ass in graphics design. And I ended up using her material when I did advertising. In terms of the man, the one that I'm thinking of specifically that was gay, he was the least performing employee that I had in the office. And this was not based on my evaluation. This was based on what my managers told me, because they had a certain amount of information that they had to process, and they said he was dead last. And they may have even shown me the numbers. The person who was number one was a woman. She was like double him. And the thought comes through your mind, should you fire this guy? But I decided, even though he's dead last, the work that he did was worth the money. If everybody did the work at the rate that he did it dead last, I still would have kept everybody on the job, because he was still above my minimum expectation. Okay, so that is what I had to say. Again, these facts are things you can search on the internet. You don't want to look at news articles or blogs. That's not where you get facts from. And beware of independent studies. Those things are always subject to being biased. Look for government data. Look for scientific facts. Not if someone is saying, oh, 150 million people did this, find out where they got their facts from and look it up for yourself, because people misrepresent facts all the time. They'll take a number that is here and they'll put it here and it means something completely different. So it happens all the time. Look at the government sources. Look at empirical facts, which means that they're reproducible. Don't cherry pick. If you find 10 studies and there's one you like and 9 you don't, you can't pick the one you like, and then use simple logic. Don't worry about what other people say. Think independently. If you're worried about telling other people, don't tell any people. I remain silent about it all of my life, because people are so angry about the truth. Well, that's too bad for them.